everybody, welcome to All That and Then Some with Dewana. I'm Dewana, and I'm on location. Hey, I'm on location at the Hyatt Golf Resort and Spa in Cambridge, Maryland. I'm on our first annual women's retreat with my church. Last night was amazing, but I wanted to wake up this morning and I wanted to come out here and sit by the water and just reflect on some things that God has been speaking to me. I know He has told me I needed to be in my own personal, I need to have some on my own personal, one-on-one time with Him this weekend. And I'm just amazed at the things He is doing in my life and what He's going to do in my life. And it takes me to just thinking back on how much my deportment was off. That's the word of the day today, deportment. And what deportment means is, I don't know right this minute because I don't have my, hold on, let me see. All right, this is impromptu. I decided to sit in this gazebo, pull out my video, pull out my phone with my little tripod and do this video real quick. Let's see what deportment. I know what it means in a sentence, but I don't know the exact dictionary meaning of the word. So let me look it up real quick for you. But if you ever have a chance just to like get into nature, I'm telling you what, it'll change your whole perspective on how you see things when you get into just looking at nature, period. You know, just like discovering the things that God has done, you know, at the blink of an eye. So, deportment means a person's behavior or manners. My deportment was off so long ago. And sometimes I think back and I wonder, why did I take so long to come back to Christ? That's something I think about on a daily basis, because the way I feel now, I wish I could have felt like this in my 20s, or I wish I could have felt like this even in my 30s, you know. But I let life lead me instead of letting God lead me. And it's something I gotta live with every day. And I never looked at any of this. None of I'm gonna show this later. You know, in this video I'm gonna have little snippets of videos that I make or whatever. But I never paid attention to the majesty of what God has created. And not just the world. I never thought about the majesty that God created in me. And the way I feel inside now, Lord knows I wish I could have felt like that my whole life. But I'm just so appreciative that He still loved me enough. Even though my deportment was off, even though my manners wasn't what He made me to be, He loved me enough to snatch me out and set me on the right path, set me right next to Him. And I am forever, forever grateful. Just know, your deportment can be off. It can be askew. It can be discombobulated. That's 3 big words right there. It could be all of those things. Just know God will always love you. All He needs is for you to make that one step, and He's gonna step right in line. Yeah. So I need to go back into my own space right quick. So maybe I'll come back later and I'll do a little tour where you can see some little stuff, and maybe I'll come back and talk later on. But I really want to enjoy this time I have here. I really do. Yeah. Hi everybody, I'm back. how long this gonna last. Because my grandson now wants to act like he wants to move around. But yeah, I took some couple months off. I needed to get some things together, and coming back with a short little part 2 to this. I will be showing some of the pictures and videos I took from the retreat 2 months ago. But I want to get to the second part of the word of the day, because I haven't done a video in 2 months. I figured, why not do 2 words? Right. Okay, so the word of the day is
perspicacious.
Yeah, it's that word. Perspicacious.
Perspicacious.
Perspicacious. And I believe I named this, I'm looking forward to a perspicacious life. And the reason why I'm saying that is because in the 2 months since I've been on that retreat, so many things have changed. I just want to give a quick breakdown, and once I give my little story time, you will understand why I picked this as my word of the day today. So when I went on that retreat, about a month or so before that, all in March, 6 months before, I'd been hearing God tell me that it was time for me to move. So I took it upon myself to start putting in applications and calling places and putting my names on realtor.com, Zulia, everything. My friend who's a realtor was taking me around places and showing me places, and we're putting in application fees, and I was asking my mom to get on there with me so that I can get a place, and I was getting denied over and over and over again. I know my credit is shot. I'm trying to get it together. And I knew I had evictions on my record. But I kept saying, well, God told me it's time for me to move. So I got to put in the work, and I got to move. Nothing panned out. I spent like over $200 on application fees. So fast forward to the next month in April when I went on the retreat, God had specifically told me I need to be by myself. No, nada, nobody. I didn't come there to deal with nobody. I just came there to deal with him. Well, he came there, he wanted me to go there so he could deal with me. So that's what happened. So he pretty much sat me down and let me know that when he put the thought in my mind of me moving on my own, it wasn't for me to take up the torch and lead it. It was for me to watch what he does. Okay? And I said, oh, God, you know how many times you have told me this? You have told me this over and over and over again, and I don't listen. So I listened this time, because I was like, you know what? How that retreat was so powerful. You understand me? When I talk about falling out, crying, going home, and I couldn't, that kind of sniffling I was doing after that retreat, I was like, if that's how women's retreats are, I'm going to any women's retreat there is. Because this thing, I don't think so. That was nothing but God was in that place. So I knew the words I heard were true, even though any words I hear from God are true. But those, I knew I had to follow it. So I came back home, didn't put in any more applications or anything. So, mind you, when I first started thinking of moving, I have somebody that I know who owns a house, and he told me about the house. He said, well, there's people living there, but I'm thinking they're trying to move out, and it might be ready by May. And he told me this in January, and I was like, yeah, I'll be interested. My lease is up the end of May, so I could probably make it work. Come March, he came back and told me that the people moved out, but he had a friend that was trying to buy it because he's trying to sell it. And I was like, all right, well, there goes that, And truthfully, let me be honest, I was like, God, that's the one I thought you had for me, for real, hello. I got in my bag about it, and that's when I started putting in all those applications. When he told me his friend was buying it, I started putting in all those applications and stuff. So, I was okay with that. After the retreat, I came back, and no more than a few weeks later, probably we came back on the 12th, maybe a week or so after that, he came to me and said, do you still want to rent that place I have? And I was like, you still want to rent it to me? He said, yeah. And I was like, yeah, of course. Let me get my ducks in a row. And all of April, I kept asking him, are you sure? Are you positive? He was like, yeah, we good. And, hold on. All right, so I knew I knew as soon as I started that video, he was going to wake up. He'd been laying there for the past 2 hours. Usually I take my nap at that time, but I said, no, Dewana, you're going to do this video. I mean, you wrote a blog last night about this. Now you need to do a video from the people who don't like reading blogs. So, I got up here and I said, I'm going to knock this out real quick. No, it don't happen that way. And I don't remember where I started. Where I stopped. Oh, okay. So in May, I'm just going to fast forward to May. In May, I remember going to him and I'm like, are you going to put an ad in the paper or like, or do I need to give you an application and I fill out the application and you do the credit check and the background check? This is when I was ready. I was ready for him to be like, oh yeah, we do need to do all that. This man told me, I'm not putting no ad in no paper because I'll have 100 people calling me for this place. If you want the place is yours. On top of that, I'm not doing no credit check. I know where you work. I know how much you make. You're good to go. I was like, okay. No lie. No lie. You understand? So I signed my lease on May 29th. I moved in on May 30th. And when I tell you, I live across from a field. And in the 3 years that I have been moving from place to place to place, my other favorite place that I lived was in the country, in the state that I'm in, and I lived right across from a field. And the backyard was big, but the front porch was right across from a field. And I kept saying, I would love to live somewhere where I'm like, on it, like I see nothing but just the sky, the trees, the leaves, the dirt. I want to be able to see that and just engulf all of nature in its loveliness and know that that's something that God made. And God not only blessed me, so I took my hands off of it. He blessed me with a place that's in the country. When I go out my front door, I see nothing but fields, trees, the sky, the birds chirping. I even have a birdhouse high up on a pole in the front of my yard. My backyard is big. I have a deck. Dewana has a deck. Dewana has a deck. There's a gazebo out there, y'all. I have acres. I have acres of land. And I'm just renting it right now, but he wants to sell it. So in this next year, I'm getting my credit right. And I'm going to, by next year, I'm hoping to be able to come back on here and be like, I'm buying that house, y'all. And I give all glory and honor to God because he did it. He did all that. I didn't put my hands on it, really. You know what I'm saying? He set that man in front of me at that time that he needed to be in front of me and did what he needed to do, and what he told me he was going to do. So that's why I say from this point on, I'm going to be living nothing but a perspicacious life, meaning having a ready insight into an understanding of things. I now understand what it is he wants me to do. And for so long in my life, I didn't. And my grandson is out there crying his head off. Like, what is my son doing to him? Like, seriously. Anyway, back to, I get so sidetracked. Back to
Perspicacious.
Yeah. Having a ready insight into an understanding of things. I know the visions that God has afforded me. I know to trust and believe in everything that he says that he's going to do. He's going to do it. Not in my time, in his time. And I have really got to buckle down and believe in that because look at what he has done for me. I am in my own place. My own place. I haven't had a place, y'all, for 3 years. 3 years. And what's so crazy is this 3 years ago, this same month, is when I decided to move out and move away from my kids. So that's, in and of itself, that's something. The number 3 means completion. I remember when I went on this whole ride of when I left my kids and said, y'all gotta go, I gotta go on my own and do my thing. I remember that I was thinking in my head, it's going to be only a month. It's going to be 6 months and I'm going to go back and we're all going to be together. Or it's going to be a year. Okay, it might be 2 years. No, it was 3 years. That number 3 is so significant in my life. I'll never forget it. And so from this moment on, I've been doing it here and there, but I'm really perspicacious.
Perspicacious.
I'm vying to live a very perspicacious life from this moment on. I'm not going to take anything for granted. I'm going to live life to the fullest. I'm going to push this vision that God has given me in all the avenues that He's told me to put it in. I'm going to do them. And I'm going to do them to the best of my ability. I have all the room in the world to do it now. I can do it in this room. I can go in my own kitchen. Let me tell you something. I'm done with that. First off, I got on my Mrs. Roper outfit because I said, my Three's Company, Mrs. Roper, caftan, because I figured I'm just going to laze around the house for this next couple of days and just get used to just being by myself, with my grandson and my daughter's here. But just having my own. Let me tell you something. Since I've been here, I have walked in the living room in my t-shirt and panties every single night. No lie. Ask my daughter. I came out there last night with my son and she was like, "You don't got no clothes on." I said, "Excuse me. I got on my bra and I got on my panties. This is my house. I'm going to walk around this house any way I want to." And that's what I did. I ain't done that in 3 years, y'all. I thought I didn't like cooking no more. I done cooked every single day since I've been here. I done just made breakfast. Scrapple, omelet, cheese bread, pork sausage scramble. I done made 2 big dinner meals and a breakfast meal. I haven't done that in 3 years. I would cook once in a blue moon when I felt like it, but that's what happens when God blesses you the way He's blessed me. I'm just like, I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to mess it up. I ain't going to let nobody mess it up for me because He gifted me with this, because He know He got work for me to do. And I need to be somewhere where I felt safe and secure enough to do those things. So I'm gonna keep on keeping on living this perspicacious life, and I need for you guys to just look and know that God wants us all to live a perspicacious life. For us all to understand the things that are going on in our life are going on there for a reason. Even the bad things. I mean, I love when people always think something's bad has to deal with the devil. Everything bad ain't the devil. Let's just get that out of the way. Everything bad ain't the devil. Sometimes God puts you into some situations to see if you can handle them. Because if you can, then He's ready to move you up to that next level. I thought the doors that He was opening for me, I had to open them. I had to walk through them on my own, and I had to make the moves for them to open. No, He sat me down and let me know He was opening doors. Those doors that He was opening, He's the only one that can open them, and He's done His thing. Now I got to do my thing. I understand it. I'm living this perspicacious life. I understand it. I'm getting it, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm not saying no more. I got too much stuff to do. And I said enough. And God, I don't know if I like you seeing my whole. I mean, I like my beautiful, fulsome woman self. That video's coming up. It's coming up. I'm one fulsome woman. I don't got no makeup on. I don't got no earrings in. My eyebrows ain't done. Y'all know I don't wear lashes. You're getting all natural. You're getting all natural, Miss Roper, African goddess look today. Okay, my son's calling me, so I gotta go. But ladies, remember, you're all that and then some. I'm back. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do me a favor and subscribe, share it on your social media so everybody can see it and we can join this movement, make this movement as big as it could be, going into the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. All right, thanks so much. Bye. Can we just talk about how beautiful this resort is? Like, this is the things I'm talking about. When you actually take a step back and look at all that God has created, it blows my mind. And I'm totally serious. It literally blows my mind. Look how pretty that looks. The sun going down on it. And just the water rippling. The water look kind of dirty, but it's still beautiful. It's still beautiful. Yeah. All right, y'all. So I said I would show you guys what I look at every day when I walk outside. Look at this. Let me bring it up. Look at this. It's beautiful.